to the ashes. The spirits light up the night, looking down the edge of forever. So stop me or take my advice.
Now, from the Untold Radio Network, it's Untold Radio AM with Doug and Alex Hajicek.
Hello, Mr. Alex.
Hello, Mr. Dad.
So, it's so windy out there. It sounds like my barn is going to come down. I don't even have a barn.
It's that windy.
It's really windy outside. Yeah, it's making all sorts of racket I don't like.
Yuck.
It's moving the house. It's moving stuff.
Spooky.
So anyhow, welcome our live audience. This is episode 166.
Yep. 166.
Season 4, Untold Radio AM on the Untold Radio Network on November 8th, 2023.
Perfect. 2023.
Yeah. It sounds like the future to me.
I
remember
know.
sitting in the back seat with my sister, and we were discussing how old we'd be in the year 2000. And we were like 5, and maybe she was 8. We were trying to figure out how old, and she goes, "You're gonna be, blah blah blah." And I'm thinking, "Oh my God!" So it really did back in the 60s. That seemed like a long ways away. I mean, it was. Anyhow, by the way, just so you know, if I disappear, it's because I got to go blow my nose or cough or whatever. I got hit with the what.
Yeah. Yep.
That was brutal. Oh, it was real. Well, you heard me when I talked to you the other day. I was
it was tough.
I don't think I've ever gotten to that point where I'm like, I need to go to the hospital because my lungs are filling up with fluid. Just something quick. I couldn't even get it out quick enough.
So how many days did it hit you?
I think I got it like Thursday of last week. Thursday night, yeah. Now Yvette's sick.
Of course.
Yeah. And she was real nonchalant about like, oh, I'm never going to get sick from you. And all of a sudden last night, she was like really sick.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it sucks. Anyhow, I heard you had an interesting little errand you had to make. Did that work out okay?
Yeah, it was fine.
All I'm going to say is it had to do with a passport. And I went with your sister to go get her passport. She just got it like yesterday or the day before. She has the most beautiful passport picture I've ever seen in my life. I thought, what the frick? How was this even possible? Looks like a fashion photographer took the photo.
Fashion photographer.
And it just was insane, right? But we waited up there for hours and we had a ticket. And then all of a sudden we realized they didn't take credit cards. We had to have a check.
They won't take credit
No,
cards?
they won't take, but we're in line and there's this little sign and I noticed. So I'm like, okay, hurry up. Here's the plan. Let's just get in the car. Let's run and we'll just hopefully beat this number back. Because we'd already been there 2 hours.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So we literally get in the car and race back, grab the checkbook, come all the way back, and it's like 10 miles. We get there, we literally sit down and they call our name or the number.
Oh, perfect.
So we were like, I looked at her and just gave her the biggest, yeah. We won. It never happens up at the license bureau.
Yeah, it never does.
Okay, speaking of foreign places, you remember I was talking about ebikes and the funny names that, the funny translations that the Chinese make because all the e-bikes are built in China. Every one.
Yeah.
I mean, I can just say it. It's sad, but they're all built there. It'd be funny if there was just like one other country that would build them, right? Nope.
No
other country. But the names they pick out are so funny. So I was on Amazon just kind of seeing what they were, how the prices have been going up or down. And I noticed one, and literally this is the name. And I gave you the photo 1. Look at the name. It's Pucky Puppy. Pucky puppy.
Oh, that's a keeper.
I mean, the bike is fine. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's beautiful. It's just Pucky puppy.
You're telling me you don't want to own a pucky puppy?
Imagine some big dude on the Pucky. This is like a, probably more of a dude bike. I know it's a step through, but it's a fat tire bike. Women generally don't buy fat tire bikes.
No.
It's Pucky puppy. Okay. So I thought, well, I want to check some of these other names because I was, making a big deal out of this. Was it last week or the other week? So here's some of the other names. Here's one that I thought was really interesting. Is in wheel. Is in wheel.
Is in wheel.
Yeah. So where's that nail? It is in wheel. I don't know. Where did they come up with this crap? The next one, I swear to God, you're going to love this one. Act best.
Act best.
Just act best. Is that a social message on the side of the e-bike? What is that? That's the name. So you're going to buy this thing. You're either going to have to get the spray paint out or you're going to have to ride around with the words act best. Next one isn't too bad. It's stupid. I wouldn't run around with this name. Free Sky.
Free Sky.
Yeah. Yep. I would have come out with an e-bike called Expensive Sky.
Expensive Sky.
The next one, goofy again. Freebeat.
Freebeat.
Legit. These are all available on Amazon. Freebeat. Here's one I have no idea what it means. Allure.
Allure.
Aulloor. Allure. The next one's really great. You would look good on this one, Alex. Happy Run.
Happy Run.
It's like, was that like happy ending? Happy Run. I'm surprised they don't have one called Happy Ending. Riding Times.
Riding Times.
Yeah. And this one, it's all my all-time favorite. I'm going to buy two tonight. Tulu Moo.
Tulu
Moo. Yep. And the next one is definitely, for a gangster e-biker. Hitway.
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 Is that a horrible name?
I know. It's like, if you're an e-bike manufacturer and you'd like to name your e-bikes, please contact me and I'll help you.
Yeah.
With something that will help sales, not hurt sales.
I know.
Okay. So anyway, I put my money where my mouth was, right?
Yeah.
I was teasing about it. Now I just gave you what? Pucky puppy? Really?
I want the pucky puppy.
Give me the, I'm going to be out on the pucky puppy. I'll be home in an hour. Okay. All right. And while we're on the topic of two-wheeled vehicles, okay, this is disgusting to me. They are just, they have computers that can run, like Segway started it where it can balance automatically, right?
Yeah.
They put these computers in these things. This has no place on a motorcycle, this kind of technology. I don't think it does. Not when you're doing speeds of 75, 80 miles an hour on a freeway. They decided, Yamaha, to engineer a motorcycle as a concept, but engineer it all and put it out without any handlebars.
Oh my God.
So you just sit on it and you just sit there and look stupid. You literally have nothing to even grab onto. And I throw up photo too. So let's build a motorcycle with no handlebars. This is brilliant, people. Let's depend on the computer chip.
Yeah, because computers.
Because there's no such thing as hackers, right, Alex?
No, never.
There's no such thing with short circuits, right, Alex?
No.
No such thing as battery fires, no, right, Alex? No such thing as these things.
Computers never crash.
Yeah, they never. That's what we deal with all day long. They never go wrong, right? What makes a bike any different? So anyhow, feast your eyes, people.
Wow.
It's scary. We have to stop depending on it. It's great to have technology, but don't put yourself in a world where you have to have it.
Yeah.
Don't have a cash register without an analog button on it that can still ring stuff up,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, enough of that. That's once in a while I get on here and rant, don't I?
It's good though. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
But a motorcycle without handlebars, really, people? Come on. I expect more from Yamaha. Okay, anyhow. I mean, even to put it out there, it's like, oh, gosh.
So I take it you're not buying one.
No, not in the near future. No. I wouldn't know what to hold on to. What do you hold on to? Put your hands in your pockets?
Yeah, I mean, what do you just look silly.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. Okay. So let's do some. The news was so depressing this week.
Yeah.
I turned it on even on the news for a few seconds. It was like, nope, not even going to talk about it. We're just going to go right to some fun trivia.
All right, we're doing the trivia.
Yes, we're here to cheer people up.
All right, let's do it.
All right, Alex, for 1,000,000 points.
For 1,000,000.
People in chat. What is the study of mushrooms called?
The study of mushrooms.
No googly. Don't do the googly cheat. I see it in your eyes. See how he tries to cover it up with his squint?
Is it
I'm watching.
Is it mycology?
Yeah. If somebody beat you, Bristol beat you to it.
Oh.
All right. Can an airplane go in reverse? It's a yes or no question.
Yes.
You're right. Oh, here we go with the cough. If your wind speed is greater than your airplane speed, it will literally go in reverse. In the air even, while it's flying. Cool.
Yeah.
Obviously go in reverse probably on the runway, right?
Yeah, probably not.
Does sound travel faster in the air or the water?
The air.
The air? Everybody agree with Mr. Alex? The air? Sound travels faster in the air? No one's just like you. They learned from you. They're not listening. There. Loretta got it right. It's water. Because it's denser. Water's denser. Yeah, it can bump in. The molecules can bump into each other quicker. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't think it though. It doesn't make sense. All right. What is the material called that cannot carry an electrical charge called? There's a term. What is it called, the material that does not conduct electricity?
Insulator?
Correct. Did anybody beat? Nobody beat you. Wow. Good job. All right. Will there be an impact on your height if you go into space? Yes or no?
Yes.
That was pretty damn quick. And yes, because you're no longer subject to gravity, so you're going to get taller.
Which is weird.
Uncle Joe always says gravity's tugging on your earlobes. Right? It's tugging on you.
1 year at a time.
I'll tell you, yeah, we'll be sitting in the car and he'll see somebody. He'll go, man, gravity's really tugging on that guy. Oh, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gravity, but that's a theory of mine, by the way. It's my unique theory. I believe gravity tugs on everybody in a different manner.
Really?
Yes, I actually believe there's something they're going to find out far into the future that causes gravity to pull harder on certain people. And I'm not talking about their weight.
Yeah. What do you think? I
don't know. I don't have a theory, but I know it's real.
Yeah.
I've seen really heavy set people that can walk as light, just like they're floating. And I've seen really skinny people that seem like gravity's like double what it is for everybody else.
Dragged.
They're just
around.
Boom, boom. Yeah. It's the theory. All right. Where am I? What is chalk made out of? See if anybody can beat Alex. What is chalk made out of? And by the way, the audience can Google.
Calcium.
Alex can't.
Calcium? Is it calcium?
God, it's limestone, and so limestone is made from shells, and shells are made from calcium and silica. So yeah, you're kind of right there. It's kind of right, actually. Yeah.
Half right.
Talc. Baby powder.
Baby powder.
Limestone. John is actually more correct. It's actually just ground.
All right, John. Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
smart guy.
Yep. By the way, I did ask John, I'm doing this in public. I asked John, hey, John, do you want to be our moderator at Untold Radio?
Well-
He goes, give me some more info on it. So would you and John talk, please?
Yeah, sure.
See, John, I'm publicly proposing to you. Right?
To wield the band hammer.
Yeah. All right, where are we at? What part of the body serves the purpose of maintaining balance? First person to get it right is what part?
The vestibular system.
The what? What's that? Where's that located?
In your ear?
Yeah, and you were Googling that?
No.
Swear to God.
Yeah, I swear to God.
You did not Google that.
No, I did not Google that.
Okay. Ear. So Deborah, I believe, no, it's the, and I don't know how to pronounce your handle, but Nick.
Nick.
Got it right. Nixon, I guess I'd say it. I think Nixon got it right. All right. All right. This is a cool question. What is the tallest structure built in linear order after the Great Pyramids? What was taller than the Great Pyramids? The first structure to be taller than the Great Pyramids. That's a tough one for people. Don't Google, Alex. Close your eyes.
Isn't it somewhere near the Great Pyramids?
No.
Or it's not even near there at all.
No. You can open your eyes now. No one will get it. It's the Eiffel Tower. Built in the late 1800s.
Oh, wow.
The Eiffel Tower was the only and first structure built higher than the Great Pyramids. It was the first one. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's a long wait, right?
It is a long way.
That shows the technology that they had. Holy crowley. All right. Who has more hair follicles, blondes or brunettes?
Who has more hair follicles, blondes or brunettes?
Oh, by the way, Blazer got it. See, Greg Olson got it. Charlotte got it right. Michael Fetterman said it. I'm just looking. Charlotte J. Michael Fetterman.
Isn't it like the same?
Yeah. So anyhow, I think the first person was Charlotte J. Got it. I think. No, the Empire State Building is not the right answer. And then Kelly goes Paris. So there you go. All right, back to it. Whatever. Who has the most hair follicles? Blondes or brunettes?
It's not
Uncle Bones. Uncle Bones says brunettes, and AJ says blondes, and Michael says blondes. Michael Fetterman.
I'm calling trick question.
What is it? Brunettes or blondes?
They have the same.
They have the same. Oh, you are wrong. Blondes.
Oh!
You are very wrong.
I was trying to be nice to both of them.
Yeah. We have a smart audience. I know nobody would ever Google. It's coming right out of everybody's head. But even Googling takes skill because you got to know the right, you got to still know the right question to ask even. All right. I'm done with my trivia for the thing, and we're ready to go to, some clips, some uplifting clips. All right. Welcome back after that space age open. Clip 1, the sound is good, and this will get us in the mood tonight, right? Yes. So I want you to just play this. And you could, if you want, you could even skip ahead a bit. We don't need all the details. The guy was going in a semi to pick up some big paper rolls. So you could pick it up right from here is fine. but we'll get the gist. This is, maybe back it up just a little bit. Now let's play this.
It was 7:30 to 8
There we go.
o'clock in the evening. It's still daylight. It don't get dark till like almost 10 o'clock, Lots of daylight. And I see these shadows in the wood line back in a little ways. Dark, like a blackness. And then moving around because I heard some things.
He had pulled over to fix his
Felt
brakes.
weird. It was real odd. It was almost like an echo chamber. It was just the strangest feeling. Unnatural sounds. It's weird. I'm really feeling real uneasy. And I got it fixed. It was a quick repair, not even 5 minutes. And I start to go, and I'm at the bottom of a hill. I'm heavy, and I got a lot on the truck, so it's going to take a while to get up that hill. So hold out onto the road, get going. Everything's fine, no cars around. I start getting up the hill. Maybe I get 100 yards, and I look over to my right side. I just felt a darkness in my window out of the corner of my eye, and there is a wolf head in my window. My windows are down because it's warm, and I wanted to get the breeze in. I'm at about 20 to 25 miles an hour, maybe, and wolf head is just keeping up with me like it's a Sunday stroll. This wolf-looking thing is staring at me, and he's looking down. He's stooping down. I'm sitting at 9 feet. He's stooping down, so he had to be 10 to 11 feet tall. Had to be. He's running next to me on 2 feet, looking down through the window at me, stooping down. And he's got his hands in front of him. And he's got hands, and they're huge. And his head is like taking up a semi-window, big. And he's just right there next to my mirror. And he is black. He sells black. His eyes are like a deep amber gold color. He looks like a werewolf, but
Creepy.
He doesn't look like an animal either. He's got intelligence. He's looking straight at me. His eyes darting around, looking at everything in my cab, like really fast. And he's reaching in. He reaches in and pulls his hand away. As he did that a few times, his claws are about 3 inches long, looking like raccoon hands, but giant. He was really smooth, like silky smooth in his movements, almost like a cat. He's got shoulders and he's running, but his arms aren't moving like a man would, even though he's got similar torso and hands. It's kind of like he's out there like a raptor running. He had to stoop down to look in, and I'm sitting at about 9 feet. He was huge. He was massive. He was about 1,000 pounds, I would say.
All right,
the
that's
hand was
enough.
so big that it was
That's enough. I mean, it just goes on and on. The point was, it's a pretty credible story, only because the guy was willing to give his name, and and he had a totally legit story. What do you make of stories like that are just so weird? This thing must have been 10 foot tall.
The story makes it hard to believe, but he sounds so credible.
Oh, and then he shoots it.
Oh,
so not only does he shoot it, he goes back to see if it's dead because it flops away.
God.
And drops. So he goes back, and his plan is to run over it. Because he just doesn't even want this thing to exist in our world. So anyhow, John says give him some jerky. Do you want to finish this? You can finish it. What do you think?
I think
move on. Okay.
Yeah,
all right, let's move on. Clip 2. Sound is by the way, before I get into this, I forgot we have Jessica Jones on tonight. I think everybody already knows that. Right?
Yep.
Is she in the waiting room? The back room?
Yeah, she was just a second ago. Oh. Yeah, she's back. She's back.
All right. Anyhow, we'll finish up here soon, Jessica.
Okay.
All right, clip 2. Sound is good. This is really interesting because I'd never heard of this. There's an island near Hawaii called Niihau Island, and it's completely forbidden for any visitors to go there because it's all Hawaiians living, like natives, living in their indigenous ways. So go ahead and play this. It's interesting.
For the intriguing world of Niihau Island, often called Hawaii's Forbidden Island. We'll explore its origins, its unique residents, and why visiting it is nearly impossible. Ni'ihau's story dates back over 1,000 years when Polynesian voyagers first settled here, creating a culture steeped in tradition and history. For the past 150 years, the Robinson family has owned Ni'ihau, maintaining a policy of strict isolation, making it one of the most private places on Earth.
So apparently somebody
Only
bought the
around
whole
70
island.
native Hawaiian residents call Ni'ihau home today. They live a traditional lifestyle, preserving their language and customs. Now, here's the catch. You can't visit Ni'ihau without an invitation. The island is off limits to outsiders.
All right, that's
even
enough.
though it's
That's enough of that. But it's interesting.
It's interesting.
I'll make a bet. We'll never get an invitation.
We'll never get an invitation.
Nope. All right. Clip 3. The sound is good. This is just a little info that people maybe don't know on the jets that we all fly. And I thought people may find this interesting. Go ahead and play it.
Wondered why jets don't have a barrier in front of the engines? I mean, it can't be good for birds to get sucked in all the time. So wouldn't it be better if there was a grate to guard against this? Well, jet engines need a massive intake of air in order to work properly. And a barrier would actually obstruct the airflow enough to make it significantly reduce the engine's efficiency. So instead of caging it off, these engines are made with very durable blades that can handle most birds and debris. Have you ever noticed those curved tips on the ends of airplane wings? Well, they're known as winglets, and they're actually really important. You see, as airplanes fly, these mini tornadoes
All
form
right.
at the end of the wing.
Enough of that crap.
Yeah, enough of that crap. I was just more interested in the screens. So I've often wondered that. You know, why don't you throw a real thin, really super strong screen in front of those windows? Because once in a while a plane does go down because of birds are, you know, I think that one out in New York where Sully landed it was caused by birds getting in the engines.
Yeah. Yeah, he acted quick.
Yeah. Oh, well. I met the guy that did the doc on him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, his name's Dan. Really nice guy, and we were working on some projects together. But anyhow. All right, clip 4 sounds good. It's just a short clip. It's just the cutest damn little dog I've ever seen. I almost wanted to get out and get one. This is a Chow dog. Thing looks like a Dairy Queen Blizzard. Go ahead and play it.
Are you even real? Like, look at that face. Look at that.
That one rivals your cat, Alex.
Oh, yeah.
I love you.
Tell me
love
that
it.
isn't just looks like a little Ewok or
Like, look at that face.
God, that thing
Look
is
at
cute.
that
Oh my
ears.
God.
Your
If I
face
came
is
home and that
perfect.
was
I
sitting
love
on my
you.
couch, I don't know what I'd do. It's actually a blue Merle Chow, to be exact.
Blue
Anybody wants to
Merle
buy one?
Chow.
Blue Merle Chow, or Merle, could be called Merle, I guess. All right, this is interesting. You don't have to play the sound. You can play it, but no sound. But okay, so eagles can live to 70 years. A lot of people don't know they can live that long. But when they're 40, they have to get a real remote nest, find a nest at 40 years of age, which very few do, and they have to literally break their beak off completely. So
Jeez.
picture an eagle with no beak.
No beak.
Weird, icky, right?
Yeah.
Horrid. So they have to then a new beak will regenerate over 6 months. But then when they get their new beak, they pluck all of their feathers off because they need all their feathers. And then they pluck their talons out.
Ugh.
This is apparently a very painful molting process that eagles go through at 40 years of age. And they have to if they want to live for another 30 years. They're basically then almost reborn. Because an eagle's beak doesn't stop growing. See, by the time it's 40, it's almost useless. So they'll pound it on a rock to break it off. Keep pounding it until it breaks. Isn't that hard? Oh,
That's horrible.
it's interesting. I don't think many people know that about eagles. And they're our, our national bird, right?
Mm-hmm.
National symbol, but it's just crazy. And I guess it takes a lot of courage for them to do this. So anyhow, I'm just wondering how that one would go over. Probably not so good. The look on your face. Yeah, it is weird. Okay. Next one, clip 6. Sound is good. Now, this is interesting, too. You know what a loofah is, right? The things you use in the shower.
Yeah.
Did you ever wonder where? I always thought they came from the sea or the ocean.
Yeah, me too.
Huh? Are we ever dumb? Because they apparently grow them like corn. Go ahead and play this. This is weird. I was like, I don't even know if it's true.
About to peel a loofah that isn't completely dry yet. I know some of you can't handle that, so you might want to keep scrolling. This one's been sitting in a greenhouse for 3 or 4 days, and you can see it's starting to turn a little brown there. And I want to see what this one looks like compared to the one we did a few days ago that was completely green, and I peeled it right off the vine. So I have a ton of loofah, and we don't have enough time left in the season to let them dry.
You're gonna watch. This is so interesting.
Different ways to process these at different stages.
How many people in chat knew where loofah came from? How many people thought they came from the sea? Oh, and then Judy says she used to grow loofahs.
I mean, you can pretty much just all off in one piece.
Things that escape one.
Oh my gosh.
Just wait. You got to see this whole process. This
doesn't seem much different than the one that I did that was completely green. It may be a little denser. Yeah, I think it is.
Absolutely fascinating. We're a common household item. Watch this.
The seeds look so much different in this one. I'm
just gonna squeeze all these seeds out of there.
So here's what I got.
And there they are.
Water overnight and finish cleaning them up tomorrow.
Huh.
Here's the seeds I got from this. Really,
you know. All right, it's enough of that crap.
Never would have guessed. That's cool.
So Judy knew. How many other people knew?
I didn't know.
Yeah, everybody assumed it was the ocean. I did too, because it looks kind of like a coarse sponge, like coral. Almost.
Yeah.
You
That's what I thought.
It's like so many women have those loofahs hanging in the shower, right?
Yeah.
Do you have one?
No, yeah, of course.
Would you like some for Christmas? Loofahs? Don't you hate that when you get loofahs for Christmas?
Oh, give me more loofahs.
Yeah,
more.
So we're to get Alex a loofah.
We're gonna replace the one that's 6 years old.
All right, clip 7 is really weird too. You know, it's just I could not do this. Go ahead and watch this. If you had turtles for pets, this is odd as heck, and I could not do this. Go ahead.
Okay, let's go bury the turtles. Our family's box turtles, Squirtle and Jellybean, are ready to hibernate through the winter, so it's time to bury them. We've been helping our pet box turtles.
I mean, you do this when they die.
Reptiles, brewmate, through the winter for
Look at this,
25
Alex.
years.
Can you imagine going and burying your cat for 6 months?
They need to be cold to brewmate properly, but not frozen. And in our region, being buried about 18 inches down will keep them at a steady cold temperature just above freezing. Wild box turtles bury.
And what if you forget where you put them?
Turtles need help to make sure they are deep enough to survive the freezing temperatures and snowy winters.
Alex,
I'm sorry. I'm watching.
In the hole, we cover them with loose dirt and leaves, and they're
Alex to earth. So what if you forget where you put the damn things?
She's
marking with rocks, but okay, give me a break. If I buried something in the fall and came back some beloved pets, I'm not going to remember where the hell I buried them.
No, I'm not.
And how are they going to get out? That's deep.
That's super deep.
Anybody ever heard of that? This is untold information here. All right. So don't get a turtle with a pet. Couldn't do that. So clip 8, sound is good. It's just more of these. Another example of these really showy, sparkly, look at this character, sparkly UFOs. We got to get this guy in our podcast.
Seen over San Diego last night.
Sarah, get out here.
I've got 2 different angles of this.
What is that?
And I'm telling you, they're not drones. They're not fireworks on drones. They're not skydivers holding fireworks because they just zip back up again and they stay up sometimes for hours doing this.
Sarah!
That'd be like me calling you, Alex. Alex, get out here. Alex, get out here. All right, enough of that. But they just keep going. You could probably look up these on YouTube and study them. They're really interesting to me. Have you ever heard? I want to skip to clip 10. I don't know why I do, because I just do. I want to skip it. Sound is good. Have you ever heard of whistling arrows?
No, I
In
haven't.
archery, whistling arrows. I have never heard of this. Go ahead and play clip 10. The sound is good. This is really cool. Apparently this is some old thing.
All right, guys. So I've got two different whistling arrows I'm going to try. This one is deer antler, and this one is a hollowed out walnut. So I'm going to shoot them over this pond and just see how they sound. This is the deer antler.
Whoa.
That's so
And
cool.
the walnut.
That is cool.
I'm sure it was invented for warfare, just to intimidate the enemy. I don't know. We'll have to do some research on whistling arrows. All right. Now, this one, the reason that's why I wanted to wait a little bit. Clip 9, they claim if you can get these 6 questions right, that you're smarter. There's only one person in 50 that can get all 6 of these right. I took the test and got 5 right. The last one, I just about picked the right one, but I didn't. Swear to God. So you guys can all take this test yourself. I'll read the, because they don't read the answers. I'll read the answers real quick. But take this test, everybody. Alex, take it. It's interesting. Just 6 questions and it goes quick. Go ahead. You can play the sound. Clip 9. There you go. All right. Only 1 in 50 Americans can get 6 out of 6. So go ahead and play this.
Only 1 in 50 Americans can get 6/6. Question 1. Which river flows through the heart of New York City?
The Hudson, the James, the Snake River. Which one flows through New York City?
Answer A, Hudson River. Question 2. In which state is the Gateway Arch located?
Florida, Missouri, or Nevada?
Answer B, Missouri. Question 3. In which state is the Great Salt Lake located?
Texas, Ohio, or Utah?
Answer C, Utah. Question 4. What is the capital of West Virginia?
This is the one I got wrong, by the way. Charleston, Huntington, and
Answer A,
Morgantown.
Charleston.
Yeah.
Question 5. What city is often called the live music capital of the world?
Pierre, Austin, or Salem?
Answer B, Austin. Question 6. Which desert is known for its iconic saguaro cacti and is located
this
in
is the one
Arizona?
I got wrong. Sonoran, Mojave, or Painted Desert?
Answer A, Sonoran Desert.
Yep. So how'd you do?
Oh, flying colors.
Is that it? Okay. Private. Were you one of the? Did anybody get them all right?
I did not get them all right.
I'm
That's for
asking
sure.
in chat. Did anybody get them all right? Everyone? Yeah, missed one, Michael. Yeah, I mean, you got to be smart just to miss one, actually, I think. They weren't real hard, but it was that desert one that got me. It wasn't I knew the capital of West Virginia, but
yeah,
I missed the desert one. Never even heard of that desert, which is weird. All right. Little bonus clip 11. That's over in 2 seconds. This is insane. I had no idea deer could leap this far. So look at the right. Go ahead and play it.
Ooh.
Play it again. That's insane. Poor deer. I mean, that's painful.
Yeah.
All right, we are ready to run just a few little messages. Run our disclaimer, I guess, and bring Jessica Jones on.
Okay. All right. We'll be right back, guys.
Hello once again to everybody out there in Untold Radio Land. This is Brendan Brown, host of the fastest 30 minutes in the cryptid world, This Week in Bigfoot. And here's what we got coming up on this Sunday show. This week, it's all about the body. You know we need one, and we'll break down exactly why this is the case. Mike Lucci explains why we know pretty much nothing when it comes to our fossil record. Snowwalker Prime wraps up Expedition Bigfoot's 4th season and a brand new 2 Minutes With, and I jump on the phone with the one and only Daniel Perez to cast my vote for Bigfoot of the Year. These stories and so much more this Sunday night at 6:15 on the next This Week in Bigfoot, only on CARC Universal. You better be there.
Hangar One Publishing. Books that explore the unknown.
They're after my story.
Legends leap off the pages of our books.
You think you're the only one? They're under my heels too.
From UFOs to cryptids, Bigfoot and beyond.
Who's behind all this?
Hangar One Publishing, where every legend is revealed.
It's Hangar One Publishing. They're unraveling all of our mysteries.
Dive in, real videos, sights and sounds with our immersive book technology.
I guess our secrets are out now. But in the best possible way.
From Bigfoot tracks to galactic trails, we cover it all.
We should get out of here before it's too late. You're right, let's plan.
Escaping reality? Dive into ours. Hangar One Publishing, revealing the universe's best-kept secrets, one book at a time.
Show your support for the Untold Radio Network family of shows and join in on the conversation by using super stickers and super chats on YouTube. Got a question you want answered? Ask it live via a super chat and get real-time responses from our shows, knowledgeable hosts, and guests. Help keep the Untold Radio Network shows running strong. We need your support. Send your super chats and stickers now.
Hey Untold Radio Network fans, want exclusive perks and to support our channel? Introducing our YouTube membership program with 3 amazing levels. Get loyalty badges that level up to different cryptids the longer you're a supporter. How cool is that? You'll also get access to custom Bigfoot emojis and priority in chat. Upgrade to Backstage Pass for exclusive wallpapers, photos, status updates, discounted books, and merchandise. Go all in with the producer level for everything mentioned plus member shoutouts. Ready for an enhanced experience? Join now, pick your membership level, and let's make this journey even more exciting together.
Welcome back. Before we introduce Jessica Jones, I want to thank Jennifer Arnold and congratulate Charlotte J. She's been a member for 5 months.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, big time. Anyhow, Jessica Jones. Oh, by the way, thanks for breaks because, man, I needed it to blow my nose. And
Yeah,
when you have the grunge, it's just the worst.
It's the worst.
It's the worst. All right. Jessica Jones is a paranormal investigator and remote viewer based in Northwest Georgia. She is an active field researcher, member of the Enigma Research Group, ERG, and Anomalous Studies and Observation Group. That's the ASOG. And North Georgia Cryptid Researchers, the NGCR, and they're all very action-oriented research groups which conduct field research. Jessica is also known as the Cryptid Huntress.
Love it.
I want you to be known as the Donut Hunter.
I'll take it.
You know, I used to call Linda Godfrey the Beast Mistress.
Yes. Well, now we have the Cryptid Huntress.
Now we have the Cryptid Huntress. Cool name. Anyhow, so let's go ahead and without further ado, welcome Jessica Jones. And I've never met her, have I? No, I've never met Jessica.
So.
This will be a first. Hi, Jessica.
Hello.
Hey, fellas. Nice to meet you guys tonight.
Yeah. So how come we've never met?
That's a good question. Oh my gosh. It seems like we would have crossed paths already by now.
You would think.
But you think, but tonight is as good a night as any. So
Sure,
I am
absolutely.
so happy to meet both of y'all.
Absolutely. So, okay. So you're like really interested in everything.
Oh, yeah.
Cryptids, ghosts, God knows, things that go bump in the night.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very obvious to me as I get older and older that these things really all do exist. I had an experience with a ghost just like yesterday. Just something that's just weird. And I'll tell the story later. But what in the world got you interested in all this? And then what do these things want? What do these cryptids want even?
Good question.
I mean, because I know you have a little different attitude probably in all these things from reading about, what you do. But what do they want and why are they here? And, blah, blah, blah. And how'd you get interested in all this? Start there.
Okay. I do not have all the answers, but I can tell you what I know. And I got started from a young age, just like you. I saw a ghost as a kid. And I was really interested in anything that had to do with the paranormal, the supernatural. I'm just a country girl. I grew up on a farm out here in Georgia, and we didn't have like cable TV and stuff. And so anytime if I wanted to watch anything about ghosts on TV, I had to wait till October every year. Okay, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm older. Okay, and
I remember those days. Yeah, I remember those days.
We had 3 channels with our antenna on top of the house, I think. But I was super interested because I was seeing things that weren't supposed to exist when I was a kid, such as ghosts, basically. Now, looking back on some of the incidents that I had with ghosts, I question if those ghosts weren't ETs, actually. Okay, and I know that sounds a little wild to some people, but it's pretty common, I think, now. But like I said, I was really interested in the paranormal, and as I got older, I was still having visits by ghosts and things at night when I'd be asleep in my room, and I started having a lot of people close to me pass away when I was in my early 20s. I'm talking about like my brother, my best friend, my boyfriend at the time, family, and I got super interested in trying to connect with those people on the other side. And so I got into, I guess, kind of ghost hunting. I wasn't on a team of ghost hunters, but I got like the ghost hunting equipment and went and met a guy who would come to Atlanta that had a ghost box to the dead named Christopher Moon. And I made an appointment. I made 3 different appointments with him, and I was able to talk with my deceased loved ones through his ghost box. This was a while back. Okay.
Like how far back?
It was, I'm going to say like 2006 or so. I mean, it's, like 15 years ago or so, something like that. But it was before everybody had ITC handheld devices, to talk to dead people. Or at least I didn't have one back then. So I paid money to go see this guy. But I was super interested in it. And I guess, I started getting interested in like tarot card readings and, all the esoteric stuff. And my mom was going to these meetings every Wednesday night at her friend's house. And it was Mr. Sam out in Marietta, Georgia. He and his girlfriend, Verlene, had these meetups. And if you're from Atlanta and you're in the esoteric community and the spiritual community, you probably know who Mr. Sam is. Because he would bring a different speaker in every Wednesday night that would talk about anything from like survivalist skills to ghost hunting to silver and gold, okay, to like Bitcoin, to and to like ghosts and Bigfooting and monsters of any kind, in psychics and stuff like that. And so my mom was going, and one day she was like, "Hey, Jessica, Mr. Sam is going to have some Bigfoot field researchers there at his house on Wednesday night. You should come with me and just see what they have to say." And I was like, "Oh yeah, cool. I'll go." And so let me just say, obviously, this is how I got into Bigfooting. Okay, was going to that meeting that night. And I met some gentlemen. I figured, if the things that I had seen my entire childhood and my young adult life if I was experiencing that stuff, then why would Bigfoot not be real? And so I'm the kind of person that likes to find out for myself.
Yeah.
I don't like just to hear stories from other people. I like to get boots on the ground. I want to see it. I want to hear it. I want to feel it. Okay. And I want to know for myself. Not that I don't trust people, but I just want to experience it for me. And so I went to go hear these guys, and they knew what they were talking about. Okay. And these gentlemen, there were 4 of them. They were part of a team, or I think there were 3 of them that night. They were part of a research team called Enigma Research Group. And they took a different stance on Bigfooting. Okay. These guys have been going out in the field for like 30 years. I mean, for a long time. Former military guys, law enforcement. One was a wildlife biologist that was there, a wildlife biologist. And they were heavily trained in tracking, survivalist skills, human tracking and animal tracking. One was actually trained extensively in remote viewing. Okay, but he didn't talk about that night. But he was very much into the mind, body, spirit aspect of Bigfoot. Okay. And so not only were they showing pictures of track lines and foot castings, they were talking about the communication they had with Bigfoots and all sorts of cool stuff, and I was like, wow, I can't believe these people actually have seen a Bigfoot. And so of course I had all these questions. So I raised my hand and I was asking questions, and the guy saw that I had a vested, like a big interest in what they were talking about. And one of the guys was like, well, hey, we're having an expedition next month. Why don't you come with us? And I was like, well, at the time I was, single with no kids, and I was living wild and free. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Put me on your list. I'll be there. If you just tell me what to bring and what to expect, and I'll be there. And within the week, they had sent me a list of stuff and said, they put me on their list. They were having a big expedition with a lot of people, like friends and family and stuff, going up to the North Georgia mountains to go Bigfooting for a weekend. And so I got a tent. I bought my hiking boots. I bought my backpack and my flashlights and my headlamps, and got batteries, and took my ghost hunting equipment with me. And I was so excited. I was nervous because I was worried I was going to look silly because I'd never gone camping by myself before. But yeah, everybody was super awesome. And I went to the woods with a bunch of strange men to go see if Bigfoot was real. And
that doesn't sound wrong.
it was so fun. It was the best decision I ever made. It really was, because I'm right here with you guys talking about it today.
Yeah.
And that was in, I think it was 2011 or 2012. It's been a while. But yeah, that's how I got started in it. And
did something happen? Did something happen on that first?
Oh gosh, did something happen? Yeah, it got me hooked immediately. From the first night that I was there, I had a potential cloaked Bigfoot run up behind me and knock my legs out from behind me. Cloaked. Yes, cloaked. Potentially. Now I can't say for positive that was a Bigfoot, but it was something. It was definitely something. Yeah, there was a Bigfoot standing right in front of me that peeped his head around a tree right in front of me. See, the thing about it is those guys, they knew there was a lot of Bigfoot activity in that area because they had been researching it.
Jessica, can we backtrack when you got your legs knocked out from under you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Give us a little more details on that.
Oh, I'll go there. It's a great story. Okay, so this was my first time ever Bigfooting, the first night that I was ever out in the woods. And I told the guys, I said, I will do whatever it takes to have a Bigfoot experience. Okay, so because I'm pretty fearless. Okay, if y'all can't tell, I'm pretty fearless when it comes to this stuff. So I told them I would be bait. Okay, like Bigfoot bait. Yeah, Bigfoot bait.
Huh, that's what I've been trying to get Alex to do.
Yeah. So I agreed to be Bigfoot bait, and the guys, they were joking around. I said, hey, take me to the area that has a lot of, I want to go with whichever group is going to go do the weirdest stuff get Bigfoot activity. Okay. And so they sent me off the first night with a group of about, I think it was 5 or 6 guys. And we went to a particular area. It was a field. At the time, today it's called the UFO field. Okay. But back then it was just field number 1. And so we went up to this field. We had all broken off into small teams. It was like a big group. We went into like smaller teams. I wanted to go with the big guys. Okay. And so they let me go with 2 of the founding members of the team out of 4, and some other guys from out of town. And we went up to this field, and we were just sitting there. The plan was to go observe. Okay, like go observe, and not, not provoke or anything like that. Just go observe, see if we could stir something up, basically, right? And so so one of the guys that was there was like, "Hey, Jessica, I dare you to walk up that way, like walk up the field. It was about 100 yards up to a tree line, up a mount, like a hill."
Okay, but whoa. Isn't the fact you're going to be bait already provoking?
Well, it's not like I'm not like out there yelling like, "Hey, come get me." I was just nonchalantly walking through the woods by myself.
And did you have flashlights?
No, I did not. I don't use flashlights.
Okay.
I try not to.
Did you have tons of bacon with you?
No, it was just me. It was just me.
You.
I was
Just
the
you.
only female out there.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, keep going. Sorry.
So that was enough. That was provocative enough, I guess. So I was the woman out there. But okay, so one of the guys was like, "Hey, I dare you to walk up to that tree line and by yourself. Now, don't worry, they're all going to be down at the bottom of the hill watching me with their night vision cameras and goggles, their FLIRs and their thermals. Okay, their thermal imaging cameras." So I knew that I was going to be okay because they were watching me. These guys were like, so, everybody was, let's just say they were well armed, okay, and ready to protect me if they needed to, if anything happened. And I was thinking, well, if they're at least able to watch me, at least they can tell my mom what happened to me if a Bigfoot grabs me, But yeah, so I just started walking. I put on my big girl panties and I started walking up the hill, and I got about halfway up the hill. And like I said, I had comfort knowing those guys were watching me with their night vision cameras and stuff. Now I did not have any night vision cameras. I had nothing. It was just me, and I didn't turn on my flashlight. I didn't turn on my headlamp. It was just me walking to the tree line. And this was at night. Okay, it was pretty late at night. And so I'm walking. I got about halfway up the hill, and I was doing pretty good, but I was very nervous. And I heard one of the guys running towards me, like trucking it. Okay, like I'm walking straight up the hill. I hear something come out from it was my right side, and the guys were directly behind me. So I heard something coming kind of from my right side at an angle. And as the person, I was thinking in my mind that one of the guys was trying to scare me. Okay. And I played rugby for my college. And so I know what it feels like and what it sounds like when somebody's coming up behind me to tackle me. And that's exactly what I was thinking was going to happen, was somebody was going to run up and say, "Boo," and grab me from behind is what it felt like.
Not nice.
No, I thought, man, that is so unprofessional of these guys. Like, why would they do this? And so I slowed down and I braced myself for impact because I knew somebody was about to get me. Okay. And as the person got behind me, my legs got swept from behind. Like it was almost like somebody took their foot and like swept the back of my legs out, and they kept running. And I lost my balance a little bit, but I didn't fall down, and I kind of flailed my arms up in there a little bit because I was trying to catch my balance. And I looked over, and there was nothing there. There was nobody, but I could feel the wind. Okay, I felt the breeze, I felt the energy, and as they hit the back of my legs, they kept going over to my left and kept running.
Could you hear the footfalls?
Yes, I could hear the footfalls. I could hear something like hitting the ground. Yes, it sounded like a person running. Like it sounded like a bipedal man, like a heavy man,
Okay.
like a football player running up behind me, and I could hear it and I could feel it. And then I felt the air, like I literally felt the wind go past me as I got hit.
Me and Alex's brother had that happen to us once at a campfire. We heard something, running towards us and closer and closer until we bolted. I mean, when we felt it was about to smack into us, we bolted, but we never saw anything.
Wow.
It was weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just threw it in my gray basket. Yeah. I threw it in my gray basket.
Yeah. Because to me, everything is not a Bigfoot. Okay. When we're out there, just like when people are out there doing Bigfooting, a lot of people want to think, well, everything you hear out there is going to be a Bigfoot. I don't think that. It could have been something paranormal. It could have been a ghost or something. I don't know. It could have been anything.
Yeah.
But so as I regained my balance and I stood there for a minute, I immediately looked around for a log, a stick, anything that could have been on the ground that could have hit the back of my legs. And I couldn't find anything. There was nothing there, nothing. Wow. And so I in my rational brain was trying to make sense of it. Like, I had to have tripped over something. That's what I kept telling myself. I was like, I just tripped over something. But I knew what I had felt and experienced. Yeah. And so I figured, well, whatever it was, the guys surely saw it, down there. So I just kept walking. So I started back walking to the tree line, and I got almost to the tree line, and I did hear a person walking up behind me, shuffling their feet. It sounded like they were kind of dragging their feet a little bit, and I could tell it was a person, a human. And I turned around and I said, "Are you a human?" And it was Craig, one of the guys on the team. And he said, "Hey, what happened? Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay. Something really weird happened though, but I didn't want to make a big deal about it. I didn't want to run it back to y'all crying or anything,
Jeez.
So he said, "Well, we didn't see anything." They said that the only thing they saw was me kind of flail my arms up a little bit in the air. And unfortunately, that was the distress call, was me throwing my arms way up in the air. But I didn't throw them up in there. I just kind of was, had them halfway a little bit by accident. So he went up to check on me. And that's when he told me, we started talking about cloaked Bigfoots. Okay. And he told me that's something that's happened to them before, and told me that's a phenomenon, and I'd never heard of it. We also went back down to that spot where it happened, and we turned our flashlights on at that point, and we did a thorough inspection of the area, and there was nothing for me to trip over there.
Well, I know, but a trip is a trip. You would have known.
Yeah.
It would have been a trip. You wouldn't even have thought twice of it.
Exactly.
We all
You're
trip
right.
in the forest. You wouldn't even have given it a second thought.
So
I wouldn't have braced for impact either.
I'm just curious, and I know I'm interrupting here, but so you go with this research group. What did they think these things really were? Because you mentioned cloaking. It sounds like this was not a new thing for them.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, first of all, I just want to state that most of the guys had been pretty much kicked out of BFRO. Okay.
Oh, really? They all got kicked out of the BFRO.
Yeah. Well, not kicked out. Well, some of them were, but it was mostly they're more into the paranormal aspect of Bigfoot. And so, yeah, or they just left, because of there's a difference there. They weren't looking for a primate in the woods. Okay. I think that was a big thing, is they knew it was more than just a Gigantopithecus or something, that there was potentially an interdimensional aspect to these things. There were things that they couldn't explain. They were often seen with UFOs, and we absolutely had UFO activity the next night. We had a low flying UFO over us the next night, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
And let me just tell y'all, right after that trip, the head of my team told us, he said, "Okay, I want you guys, from what happened to my buddy and myself, we had close contact with ETs, we believe, that weekend. And I was told to start reading up on alien abductions." So Yeah, that I went out to go find Bigfoot, and I left potentially being abducted by aliens. Okay,
It's pretty
so
interesting.
yeah,
The weird thing is none of us know anything. We don't know nothing, but we know something exists, right? We can all agree on that. Everybody can agree on that. That's probably watching this podcast. Well, maybe not everybody, but most people are watching podcasts like this podcast because they want answers. They want to connect some dots, some knowledge because they had an experience and they're confused. And I would imagine you're still looking for answers, right, Jessica?
I was just in the woods this weekend. I'm always looking for answers.
But you're looking for answers. You don't know anything.
I am.
You're,
Yeah.
Right.
I know. The more I'm out there in the field, and I'm out in the field a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
And the more, and I mean, these shows that I do, this is like this is for fun. I do this for fun. The meat and potatoes of what I'm doing is field research. And so I spent a lot of time out there. I was out there this weekend. I actually took my son out there with me this weekend. He's 9. And we were in a mostly a controlled environment with a lot of very, awesome researchers. And my son had his first Bigfoot sighting this weekend. So, but we're out there. The more that I'm learning and the more that I experience, the less I know.
Exactly.
Totally.
That's actually the way it seems to go.
Yeah.
Except they're real.
Oh, they're 100% real.
They're real, but what in the world what are they? Okay, so a lot of people say, well, what do you think they are? No, I'm going to ask you, what do you think they want?
Well, okay, well that's.
Oh, we lost her. Oh, she's back.
She's coming back. There we go.
Sorry, I'm having some weird phone internet stuff going on. I had to switch over to my phone, by the way, so I'm on my phone tonight.
Did it just start tonight? Your internet problems?
No, it's my computer. My computer kind of gives me issues every now and then because I do so many shows. I think it just I'm wearing all my technology out.
You're burning it
But,
out.
I'm burning it out.
All right.
Yeah.
So
tonight is the internet.
So why the interactions? Why all the interactions? Because we just got back from Snow Grove where we had interactions, numerous times. But why?
Yeah. Well, see, I don't think that. See, I actually go looking for interactions. Okay, so I'm out there encouraging it. I mean, I'm out there stalking cryptids in the woods at night. I mean, that's what we do. That's how I roll. So, and they do try to run from us. And they also are very curious about us. Now, some of the places that my team researches, we are very comfortable with the cryptids up there, and we feel like they know us pretty well. So we have a lot of activity when we go out. But I believe the reason that we have so much activity is because we are all very psychically switched on humans. We utilize our psychic abilities out in the field. I mentioned at the beginning of the show of when I came on that the head of one of my teams is a pretty accomplished remote viewer.
Right.
And that's something that our militaries use, and have used since at least the 1960s as psychic spies. And so everybody on my team, on one of my teams, we're all trained in remote viewing. And we've been trained in it ever since the first year that I met those guys. And we've trained extensively in it. And we use that to not only communicate, we do know how to harness our psychic abilities pretty well. But we're able to tune into stuff, and anybody can do this. We're all psychic. Everybody is. But I do believe that it attracts the cryptids to us a little bit more or something. It puts us on a different frequency with what's out there. And so that's how I personally, I think, get more activity than a lot of people when I'm out in the field. And that includes ETs. Okay. It's not just Bigfoots. It includes whatever's out there. Interdimensional beings. I mean, we've had some pretty dicey days and nights out there in the field. And some of them, when you're out there, if you're doing like ghost hunting, for instance, right? Because sometimes we'll do like an ST session at the Meadow. We have a place that we research called the Meadow. And the head of one of my teams wrote a book called The Meadow Project, Explorations into the South Skinwalker Ranch. Okay. And so Trey wrote that book, and that's kind of how I got into all this, speaking publicly about my research, because I had been quiet for 10 years. I didn't talk about Bigfooting publicly at all. And then Trey wrote that book, and people found out that I was in that book, and I was asked to speak at a conference, and then I got a podcast, I got a show, and I got all this stuff. And so here I am. Okay. But I never meant to go public about any of this because our teams don't talk about it very often.
Well, I know, but back to the original question, Jessica, why do you think that they are interacting, coming near us? What are they getting out of it? Or are they just curious too and researching humans?
Yes, I think it totally depends, and I think there are juvenile types potentially. I think that whatever came up and ran up behind me, I do believe that was a cloaked juvenile Bigfoot. That's my opinion. Now I don't know for positive that that's what that was, but I think it's all for different reasons. I think some of them potentially may want to communicate with us, but they're able to do that telepathically. Okay. And they can do that. I mean, I could be sitting in my house and I could make communication with one. Okay. I don't have to just be out in the field to do that. And yeah, Renee is completely right. The Monroe Institute, that's part of what my team has studied. We do the Monroe Gateway process. It's a program, really get your mind working. And the two hemispheres in your brain so you can tune in psychically to stuff. So including the Bigfoots.
Are you talking about the tapes?
Yeah, you can get it on Spotify. Okay. Yeah. It's a program of the HemiSyncs, the HemiSync programs.
Have you ever had an out of body experience?
Oh yeah. Well, there's a type of remote viewing where it is out of body.
Really?
Yeah. There are different modes of remote viewing, and yes, I've just been in my bed and astral traveling in my dreams and things like that. You know, I've had several out of body experiences. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
it's interesting. So, and then there's all these other cryptids, and obviously, I think you guys do some Dogman work. Do you think they're in the same category or a completely different category?
Yeah,
Dogman and Bigfoot.
They're two different types of cryptids for sure. And not only do you have to like differentiate like Bigfoots and Dogmen, there's also werewolves out there too. Yeah. I have never come across a werewolf or a Dogman personally, but we do research in areas where we do get Dogman reports. There are Dogmen in the areas, and there's actually in the northern part of the county where I live, for almost 20 years, we've been getting reports of werewolves and Dogmen. They call them werewolves. People that report them, I don't think they know to call them Dogmen, but there's werewolf reports all over the place. So yeah, I mean, I've done shows on potentially, you know, I've heard through the grapevine there could be Dogman breeding programs and things. Like our government's working with these Dogmen, and the military uses them during wars. Okay, so yeah,
I don't know what to think about all this stuff. You know what I mean? Because I talk to Dogman witnesses too, and they seem just as credible as the Bigfoot witnesses.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
I don't see any reason why they're looking for answers. You know, I talk to them because they are looking for answers and they're confused. But yeah, a lot of these people are like biologists and survival experts, and you know what I mean? They're not just nuts, but they see these things. So do you think that all these cryptids come from one location? Or do you think they're from all over the universe? Or, I mean, you know, and I'm not saying I believe anything. All I'm saying is I'm open-minded, and I'm curious what other people think, what other conclusions. So have you concluded that you don't know where they all come from, or do you think they all kind of come from a similar place?
I think they come from all over the place. I think that they come from different dimensions. I think that they're native to this earth. I think some come from inner earth. Okay. I think that they come from all over the place. Now, my team is very unique in the fact that we have documented what we consider to be a portal. And I just saw somebody in the chat mention about my portal experience.
Yeah.
My team, I mentioned that my buddy Trey, who's on my team, wrote a book. And he does talk about that portal. And that's the only reason I'm able to talk about all this publicly is because he wrote that book. So now I can talk about it. But yeah, back in about 5 years ago, I guess, my team was at the Meadow at an undisclosed location here in the South. And they filmed what appeared to be a portal. It was like a gigantic cube that showed up in of night vision. It was like actually it was a thermal device in the middle of a field when we were out there doing some research. And it was huge. It was the size of like a small shed in your backyard, like a little garage or something. It was just a big cube. And the gentleman that spotted it first was having trouble figuring out what he was looking at. So he passed his FLIR over, or his thermal over, to another gentleman and said, "Hey, do you see something out there?" And he said, "Yeah, I see this cube," because it was giving off a heat signature. And so they radioed over to some of the guys across the field, and they went over to check it out. And so Kristen, one of the girls on my team, she got her FLIR out and started recording. And as these gentlemen walked over to it, as they got up to this cube, their heat signatures disappeared. And this is a cube. This is an open field. Their heat signature should not have disappeared. And she has this on video. Okay, we actually have this. It has not been released to the public, not yet. But we have it, and Trey shows this at conferences when we go speak at conferences and stuff to the public. But
did anything come? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Did anything come out of this portal or what?
Oh, we sent people in. Those two guys went into it.
Oh,
and they talked about it afterwards. They went in, and then when they stepped out of it, their heat signatures reappeared. Yeah.
Is there anything they saw that was interesting? How far did they go?
Yes.
What did they experience?
Okay, so they both said that it was like, because they couldn't see anything. It was dark. They're both search and rescue guys, special forces, military, and Navy, and remote viewers, very switched on. They're very aware of their surroundings. As they walked, they were guided over to it. We have our ham radios out there. And they were being guided over to where it was by, the first team that saw it. And as they walked over to it, they said it was that they couldn't see anything other than just being in an open field. But they said that as they were guided over to it, it was like stepping into a black velvet curtain. And the temperature changed and the stars disappeared out of the sky. They noticed the stars were gone, and the vegetation on the ground went from like muddy and brushy to smooth. So the ground changed. So there was a slight difference when they stepped over into it and when their heat signatures disappeared. Now they were standing there for about a minute and kind of, getting their bearings and trying to figure out, they honestly didn't know what was going on. They just felt that little energy shift.
Yeah.
And so they had enough wherewithal to say, "Ooh, let's back out of here." And so as they did, they reappeared with their heat signatures. And as they reappeared, the box shrunk down to a smaller size, and then it floated away and it disappeared.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm interested because I talked to two men who were up on a deer stand and described kind of the same thing, and they've never gone public, of seeing like a square portal open up in front of the deer stand, quite a ways away. It wasn't close, 50 yards, 100 yards. But they saw some objects come out of it, and then they saw this thing close up. And it is a Bigfoot area that they were in. But yeah, it's interesting, it's interesting as heck. And the fact that the video exists makes it really interesting.
It is.
I tell you,
Now,
my advice, they shouldn't sit on it. If they have something interesting, they should get it out.
yes. Well, that's what we were trying. Well, if it were up to me, I would have already let it out. Okay.
Yeah.
But I believe Trey had signed. See, we're all under NDAs with a lot of this stuff too, and we've been researching this area for a long time. Now he did sign some kind of contract with a documentary company or something. So, so there may be something in the works, but I'm not sure where that's going. So we'll see. But you were asking about where these cryptids come from and where do they go? Well, you know, my big thing is where are all these missing people going to out of the parks?
Exactly.
We're researching.
What I mean, Jessica, is where do you theorize that they come from? Obviously you don't know, but
I do know some of it.
Okay.
I think I know. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know, but I do know. Okay. So, I am assigned a lot of blind remote viewing targets where I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm given a set of coordinates. And a lot of these targets that I'm given they pertain to Dogman sightings. Okay. Dogman attacks, Bigfoot attacks, Bigfoot sightings. I remote view a lot of really odd stuff that has to do with cryptids usually. And a lot of times, like when it comes to the Dogman, they are associated, and Bigfoot too, they are associated with portal activity, okay? And utilizing Earth's natural portals, okay? And that has to do with like the solar flares, and that's where, I don't know how they know where they open, but I think that a lot of these, especially Sasquatch, the Bigfoots, in my opinion, I think that they're ancient. A lot of them are ancient and they're native to the earth here. So not to say that they don't come from another planet too. I mean, I've had Jody Cook from the North American Dogman Project on my show, and he talked about extraterrestrial dogmen. Dogmen being seen coming out of a UFO, you know, and I've had fellas on my shows that were part of the secret space program and said they worked with dogmen, you know, dogmen soldiers. So through those blind targets that I get, I mean, I'm seeing like underground facilities. I think that our government, and I'm not going to just say our government, I'm just going to say like potentially like agencies of some sort are working and may potentially even creating and cloning dogmen for use. Potentially for nefarious purposes. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Just what we want to hear.
Yeah, it's just what we want to know. Exactly. Yeah. If I saw a dogman coming out of I saw a dogman coming out of a UFO and then hang it all up right there. Be it. I wouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I know, right? But we do a lot of UFO activity when we're having Bigfoot activity. However, I've never seen a Bigfoot come out of a UFO. Okay, so I can't say they're
That's
connected.
a good thing. That's a good thing, Jessica. That's a damn good thing.
Right.
Yeah, the whole thing is, you know, it's so fascinating. And I always tell people, the mystery is never going to end because people keep having sightings, right?
Yeah.
They keep having it. They keep having it in like Class B stuff, like your legs getting swept out from under you.
Right.
Ghosts are never going to go away because people keep seeing them and keep having experiences. So there's no sense in ignoring these topics. You might as well talk about them, try to learn, try to figure it out. Is there a connection? They could all be connected, or none of it might be connected, or it's just all a big joke. There's one dude back there just laughing, you know, playing jokes on us all, you know.
Yeah, I hope not. I spend too much time in the woods, and I've had way too many experiences with Bigfoot and cryptid. So,
yeah.
I personally, in my reality, Bigfoot's are real. Okay. So, and when people used to ask me before I went public, you know, I got made fun of. I had friends that would make fun of me and stuff, and they would always ask me, "Well, is Bigfoot real?" And I would tell them, "Well, why don't you go find out for yourself? You know, go out in the woods and find out." So that's what I would tell people. But yeah, in my world, it's 100% real.
Do you think skeptics have less experiences? I mean, do you guys ever bring a skeptic with you to your
I'm a
meadow?
skeptic. Yeah,
Well, you know what I mean. I'm somebody who really thinks, who just trashes the topic.
No, I honestly, I don't let those kind of people in my energy field. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I love a good skeptic. I do, but if there's someone who is so, you see, here's the thing. I like to have open-minded people that are out there. Like that's one of the main requirements for people who go out in the field with me. You have to have an open mind. Don't be so shut off to things not occurring, because that, I mean, you're not going to get any activity that way. Okay. I like to be open to all the possibilities.
So,
And,
so you do
and so-
believe then somebody who is completely closed-minded is not going to have any
Probably
activity?
not.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but I don't know. They might. Well, here's the thing about a lot of sightings, you know, and I interview a lot of people on my shows, and it's very traumatic for a lot of people. And one of my mottos is, I love Bigfoot because there's every Bigfoot sighting. Or hold on, let me get this right. We are raising the consciousness of this planet one Bigfoot sighting at a time. Okay, because there are so many people who see something that's not supposed to exist. These monsters.
Say that again. That had some wisdom in it.
Right. I know. I thought it was pretty good too. I had to get it right.
Yeah.
So we're raising the consciousness of this planet is raising one Bigfoot sighting at a time.
Wow.
Okay. And I stand behind that. I do believe that. And it's very traumatic for a lot of people to experience a Bigfoot or a Dogman for the first time, or a lake monster, or a UFO, or an alien. And so I feel good, like being able to talk about these things and have an outlet and a platform to talk about these things, because people can relate to my stories, and I can relate to theirs, and I'm an open book with all my experiences at this point, because I know how important it is for us to talk about it.
How important do you think podcasts like this, people discussing this stuff, you know, there's obviously a lot, like you said, back when we were young, there was nothing, you know, there was no talk of any of this. There was a horror movie occasionally on a Friday night. That was about it. How do you think, though, people discussing these topics on a rational level and sharing their experiences, how do you think that's going to affect the future of discovery, the future of just knowledge coming out, or and the future of how many more people are going to be reporting things? I mean, doesn't it seem like there's just more and more people reporting experiences?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's almost shocking how many people are reporting them now. I mean, me personally, you know, I'm out there with my teams and stuff. I've never made a report to BFRO or to MUFON, but I'd encourage everybody else to, because I've got my own team, and so, you know, I should be doing that. But
Yeah.
it's so important for us just to be able to talk about it. You know, the veil is gone. Like, you know, they say the veil has gotten thinner. I don't think there is a veil anymore. Okay. I just think that these things are just out there. So many people are seeing them. Well, people are knowing to look for them now. And there's been a lot of there still is a lot of misidentification out in the woods. You know, not everything's a Bigfoot. And
Right.
potentially, you know, somebody will see a bear and they'll think it's a Dogman or a Bigfoot. And that still happens all the time. But there are legitimate Bigfoot sightings as well. I mean, we had one this weekend. Yeah. So,
Well, what did you
it's just-
see this? What did you see this weekend?
yeah. Oh, I told you my son had his first Bigfoot sighting. Now
Yeah,
it
well,
was late at night.
Tell us.
Yeah. Well, we had all three of my teams got together this weekend. We went out there to go celebrate. Bob Grumpy is one of the guys who walked into the portal, the cube, and I forgot to mention, okay, that both of the gentlemen who walked into that cube got very sick. Okay,
Very sick.
and one of them has since passed away.
Take a note,
And,
Alex.
The other one is Bob, and he got a very aggressive form of cancer.
And this happened, okay, all right. Well, let's back up though. I would like to get the details. What year was this? What year did these two men walk into this thing?
I want to say it was like 2018, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. It was about. I want to say it was about 5 years ago, 2017,
Okay, so
maybe
about
something
5
like
years
that.
ago, and one has
Yeah.
passed away, which is sad, and
Yeah.
the other one is sick.
Yes. Well, one of them got just a heart condition kind of out of the blue, and now listen, I'm not saying that the portal incident caused that,
Right.
but we are all very suspicious of it. Okay, we're all very suspicious because we do take our radiation measurements. We have our Geiger meters, and usually when we have something paranormal, including the portal incident, that cube, there is a spike of radiation, and you don't know, what you're getting into. This stuff is not. It's dangerous. The stuff that we're out there doing. And so Bob Grumpy, he's not feeling well, and so we all got together this weekend and did a big old expedition with all three of our teams out there, with him. And so shout out to Bob, okay, and I love that guy. And so anyway, so we had all the teams out there, and the first night we were out there, we broke off into smaller teams, and Bob's our comms guy. He stays back at base camp and does our radio. He does our radios and stuff, so we can check in with them when we're out in the field. And so I went out with a couple of gentlemen, Don Tart and David Pardue. Okay, and if anybody's, all the Bigfooters from North Carolina would probably know who those guys are. And so I went out with them and my son, and they're good friends of mine. And we went down the road. And we got hit with an energy, like we knew there was something out there. We knew there was, we felt like a presence, okay? And we were all being pulled over to the left side of the road, and we felt some activity was going on over there. And so I had my night vision, and Dave and Don had their FLIRs, like super nice FLIRs. And so my son has never held my hand, not in a long time. And that kid had a death grip on my hand that night. It was so great. But we walked over to the side of the woods off the road, and we spotted a Bigfoot. Something was sitting there watching us and staring at us. And so my son was able to see it through, I couldn't see it well through my night vision. But we could see it through the guy's FLIRs. So we were taking turns looking at it through the FLIRs. And we even had my son draw a picture of it after we were back at base camp. And he drew exactly what we had all seen out there. So I was super proud of him. And he said he was terrified, but it was the best experience of his life. Okay. So, but we're super safe. I don't make it a point. I don't make it, it's not normal for me to take my son out there usually. Especially not to the medical.
Did you guys see it walk away, or did you see
it? It disappeared.
Oh,
it disappeared. Okay. Yeah. So we were watching it through the FLIRs, and David decided to walk up to it. He was like, "Well, I want to make sure this is a Bigfoot. Like we got to make sure we're seeing what we think we're seeing, okay? Because it wasn't moving. I mean, it was standing up, and then it squatted down. Like it got on all fours, and so he." Eventually, he took off and walked over to it. And as he walked over to it, it disappeared. Which is interesting because we have incidents where, these Bigfoot seem to just kind of disappear into thin air sometimes. Sometimes there's a flash of light. Sometimes there's an orb. And then something appears, like a Bigfoot will make a big old noise or grunt or growl at us right after we see an orb flash through the trees. A lot of very strange activity accompanies these Bigfoots out there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
People obviously, there's a couple, some people in chat that are skeptical of portals, and we don't know. I just shake my head and go, I've never seen one, but I'm not going to be the smart ass that's going to go, they don't exist, because until you see something like that, it's hard to relate to it.
That's right. Hey, that's why I like to get out there and see things for myself, because I agree with that. I mean, I probably wouldn't believe it if I had not seen it myself.
Yeah, but there are numbers of, I've taken a few reports of people saying they've seen it. I talked to one guy that's pretty famous, and he told me a story, and I was just like, and my son was on the phone, and he told us a story of a portal opening up, and boy, we questioned him, and he never faltered on his story. And you just kind of go, well, I can't really relate to it because I've never seen it, but who am I to say that he didn't see what he said?
That's right.
There has to be an explanation for all of these weird things. Let's switch gears again. Have you guys had any experience with these winged creatures like Mothman or gargoyles or whatever the hell they are?
I have not personally, no, but I know people who have had pterosaur sightings, and I have researched them and I've done shows on them, but I personally have never seen one. But I do have very good friends of mine who have seen them. We even have modern day dinosaur reports here in the Appalachian Mountains in Georgia. Velociraptors. Yeah.
Yeah, I've taken a few interesting things too, like that. Even things from like Pleistocene animals. People seen giant beavers, like the size of grizzly bears, and just some strange. You know what I mean? And you talk to these people. I remember taking a report from a guy who was a hunter and a trapper, who told me that he saw this beaver that was, like from the Pleistocene era. That was just massive, bigger than a grizzly bear. He described it.
Wow.
And you're
That's
just like,
wild.
I'm not going to doubt the guy at all. He just really wanted to talk about what he had seen. Who do you tell that story to?
That's right. That's the kind of targets I like to get for remote viewing or things like that. Just to get some more information out of it, like find out what these things are. I mean, I was given a blind remote viewing target of what turned out to be the kushtaka or the kushtaka out of, I guess it's like the northern part of Canada, or Alaska. And that's the Otterman. Okay. Are y'all familiar with the Otterman?
I've heard about
that's
it.
An interesting one.
What's the Otterman?
Yeah, explain.
The kushtaka. I mean, it looks like a Bigfoot, but it has like an otter, like a long neck and like an otter head. And it's like a humanoid, but it swims in the ocean. It actually is known. I forgot the name of the indigenous people up there. They talk about them a lot. They say that they actually swim out on the ocean, and they're like a siren, and they will lure people into the water and drown them. Okay, they're pretty ferocious. They look cute, but yeah, you don't want to get near one. But they go way back. I mean, for centuries, people have talked about them. So it looks like an otter man.
Did that unlock a new fear for you, Alex?
Yes. The Otterman.
Jeez. Yeah. And
you gotta look it up. It's great.
I just love talking about this stuff. I joke about it, but I'm not joking. I have to go and walk a ways and take garbage out on Wednesday night in the dark. And I always, right after a show, you know how your head's on a little bit more of a swivel, when you talk about this stuff. And I joke about it, but there's truth. My head's on a swivel. I'm doing the garbage. Thinking, okay, I don't want to see an Otterman. I don't want to see an Otterman. I don't want to see an Otterman tonight. So,
yeah,
fun stuff. Do you feel that sightings of these really one-off cryptids have any legitimacy? The frogman or some of these other weird cryptids that are kind of one-off, like the Otterman. I mean, what do you think about the Otterman?
Yeah. Well, I believe that the Otterman is real. I mean, I remote viewed it. It was a blind target. I didn't know what it was, and I got data out of it. That I don't remember what all the data was, but it was it pertained to whatever these people claimed the Otterman was. Okay. Now, when these stories go back for generations and for centuries, it's hard to totally discount things like that. And, the Otterman is actually very popular and well known in that area of like the Pacific Northwest and up in Canada and Alaska. But yeah, like the Loveland frogman, that's interesting, right? That was actually given to me as a blind remote viewing target too. And I was covered, and my data said something about time traveling, frog. It was just weird. I got a lot of weird data out of that too. But I believe that they could be real. Absolutely. Now, have I seen them? No, but it doesn't mean they don't exist. I just think there's a whole lot of stuff that's out there that stays hidden potentially. I don't know. Maybe some of these things are interdimensional. Maybe they're going through portals. Just saying. But part of how my team decides where we're going to go do our research out in the field is we listen for local legends and lore of areas. Because where there's a ghost road, where there is a pig man or a goat man's bridge, or something that the locals have talked about for generations, that's usually an area of very high strangeness. And so there's going to be more than just a goat man or a ghost out there. There's usually Bigfoot activity, UFOs, and all that stuff. And so that's how we pick our spots when we go and do our research.
Yeah, I just, I think about pigman, goatman. I'm like, oh, geez, it's too much. It's too much. And I remember reading some of the early cryptid books, like by Lauren Coleman and some of these really early books, and just getting the chills, because the accounts are so amazing. I remember reading about the creature of Whitehall in a book called the Untold Stories of the Police or whatever. And it was just all these weird stories that police had encountered. And, when a policeman says they saw something, chances are they damn well saw it. They don't have time for BS. And they usually have to tell these things anonymously. So, I'm so open-minded on what people see. I've seen some weird stuff. I've told this story before. We had a winged creature. I was with Yvette driving south on 35W, and something dropped out of the sky and dove at our car, and it had, the wings were as wide as the freeway. And why did it do that? Why were we picked to have that happen? Was it just random? Was it, you know what I mean? Was that thing dive bombing cars? Was it dive bombing, all sorts of cars? Or was it just us? Those are questions. So, and then I ended up doing a Monster Quest show, and I had refused to do it earlier. I told History I didn't want to do it because there was no evidence. Well, then when it happened to me, I'm like, okay, we'll do it. And so I went ahead and did one on these winged creatures. So I'm open-minded. Don't get me wrong. I just wish to God there was some form of answers. Like, why do they choose? Do they choose people, or is it all just random? Would anybody just be in those woods, in that meadow, have an experience?
Okay,
go ahead.
My answer to that is it's all about frequency. Your energy, your frequency, the vibration. Okay. And when I was talking about my team being very psychically switched on, and us having our psychic abilities, and that remote viewing training in our back pocket, that's a good tool in our tool belt when we're out in the field doing our Bigfoot field research. It's all about the frequency that you're on. And that's why I feel like it's so important for people to have an open mind, not to be so closed off about all this stuff, and to really start raising your vibrational frequency. Okay. And by raising your vibrational frequency, I mean, this is going to sound wild. Okay. I'm not trying to get like super new agey here, but it's like healing your traumas. Okay. And like doing things that make you happy. Okay. And just living on a high vibe. Like when you say high vibe tribe, that's what I mean. Like, be a part of my high vibe tribe. Okay. And like, go out and have fun, do things that help you to relax. Okay. And stop living in fear. Okay. I try not to have any fear, and I'm not saying I don't ever get scared out in the woods and stuff. But I try not to get scared. I don't get scared, but I'm aware. Okay. I'm aware of my surroundings and things, and I'm aware of what can happen. I'm ready to act on it if I have to. Okay. But I don't live in fear at all. And I think that is a big part of having that higher vibrational frequency as far as your energy field goes as a human. Okay. That the cryptids and everything out there, when you get on that frequency with whatever those cryptids are on, you're going to have more interactions with them. Okay. And I'm not saying that they're high vibe and cryptids, but maybe they are. Maybe we're just on, once you get to a certain frequency with your body and your energy field, you go into that. It's like you're tuning a radio station, right?
Like
and you're switching the channels, and you go to, my body and my energy is just on that channel to where I can go see Bigfoot, and yours too, Doug. You're on that frequency to be able to see that winged creature come down in front of you. Now, not everybody's going to be on that frequency, so not everybody's going to see that.
Okay, but
I do.
well, let me interrupt you just for a second, because a lot of people think that you're then thinking about those kinds of things all the time, and we weren't. It was just we were just driving. We were just relaxed. It was a beautiful evening. Was not thinking about any cryptids. Right? Listening to the radio. Some song by Don McLean on Vincent. I remember the song that was on the radio. So it was just a peaceful, nice night. And this thing just shattered that peace.
Oh,
you know?
no.
But so you wonder, what's the deal? Is it because we were so peaceful that happened?
You know what?
Was it
maybe that had a purpose, and maybe it was to get you to think outside of the box. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, every Bigfoot sighting is raising the consciousness of the planet, of the people on the planet, and it's raising the vibration of our planet.
You're right. It raised my consciousness. I became very open-minded at that point. I was a little more, I was always open-minded, but I was a little more closed-minded. And then suddenly at that point, I totally just became open-minded. Like, I don't get anything at this point,
Right.
So, I agree. So if somebody wants to have an experience, maybe to be in that, just be open-minded in the background, but yet still be very content. That's the best word I can describe. And the feeling I had before that thing swooped at my car and dived at my car was contentment.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it woke you up, and it made you open your mind to these things that they can exist. And so when we open our minds to knowing or seeing and believing that Bigfoots exist, the whole world is open. It opens you up to everything else. Okay. And it's just all those possibilities, or it's your world's wide open at that point. And just like where I had been having those ghost experiences, and I thought, well, if a ghost is real, why wouldn't Bigfoot be real? And lo and behold, I started having Bigfoot experiences when I put myself in that situation. Yeah.
Well, okay. So here's a question. Where do we go? I mean, with this stuff, do you guys try to collect physical evidence? I'm working on Legend Science 2 right now, which I still think there's a big puzzle with DNA. They seem to leave, things, they leave hair, they leave things, there must be DNA in it. We're still doing a lot of science. But beyond that, groups like yours, what do you guys do to collect evidence? And is evidence important to you? Like like this thermal video that was recorded at the portal. Is that important to you?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you guys set out to get more physical evidence? Do you try to collect hair? Do you work on things like that?
Okay, I got to be very honest and upfront about this. We started off as a Bigfoot field research team. Now we're just an everything research team. Okay, and we've already collected all the evidence for Bigfoots. We've collected. We still collect it whenever we get it. Whenever it's out there. But we're exploring portals now and stuff. I mean, we've kind of graduated, I'd like to say, from just being out there collecting evidence for Bigfoots. We know the Bigfoots are out there. We're not trying to prove that to anybody. They're out there for sure. And we have, my team is so diverse. We have a nuclear scientist on my team. We have wildlife biologists. We have Department of Defense guys and intelligence guys. We have fire chiefs and nurses. And I used to work in government myself. But I mean, we have ER nurses and stuff, and doctors. I mean, we have all sorts of different people on our teams. So yeah, like I said, we do get the evidence and stuff like that, but we're not like trying to prove these things to anybody. We're out there for our own benefit right now, honestly, for most of the stuff that I do personally. And we're kind of out there trying to communicate with whatever's out there now too.
Do you feel that you grow personally every time you have some experience?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I do. I'm always looking just to have a good experience. I mean, anytime we're out in the woods, it's like a natural reset for my body, for my energy, and there's nothing like it. So yeah, every time I'm out there, I like getting scared and stuff, and going out there and just soaking it all in. Absolutely. But I'm always learning. I learn every time I'm out there.
An adrenaline rush makes you feel alive. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah. Nothing like it.
Okay. All right. So now since you get that, so let's scare our audience a little bit. Do you have one particular story that you've heard or experienced or has been passed on to you of just more of a kind of a scarier experience that's a little more terrifying that you want to just relay of something you've heard or experienced? Either one. I
mean, I had one the only time I've really been scared. Okay, I can tell you all about that.
All right.
So we have a place that we go to up in North Georgia, and it's an undisclosed location, but it's in the Appalachian Mountains. And there's one camp that we go to that is a lot more scarier than the others. Okay, and we don't ever go to we try to go to campgrounds and stuff. Like, we're out in the middle, way deep in the woods, way out in the mountains. And one evening at this one camp, we put our tents a little closer to each other. Now at this point, I sleep in the back of my truck because it's a little safer. Okay. And I lock my doors. All right, that's what I've been doing lately. But up there, we all had our tents set up like really close together, kind of, because it's a smaller area, and for safety reasons. And one night we were sitting around the campfire and we're just cutting up, we just, eating some food and sitting around talking. And we were planning on getting out that night potentially and doing some scouting and stuff. But we were just kind of hanging out, not paying attention to anything in our environment, really. We were just catching up and talking. And the head of my team, the team out there, he kind of got out of his chair and started walking behind our tent. Like, he had sensed something was back there. And so the next thing I know, I hear him scream, and we all jumped up out of our chairs. And right as he's screaming, something else screams back at him, and it ran from wherever he was. This is right behind my tent, by the way, right behind my tent. And you could hear something go, "Bah!" I mean, it was this sound that I have never heard. It was not human, and it was no animal that I'd ever heard before. And it vibrated through my body. I mean, like, that's how scary it was. And it screamed, and it ran. As it was screaming, it ran like towards it. There's a trail up there where people can go hiking and stuff, off to the side. And it ran kind of towards that trail, like still screaming. And it eventually stopped screaming. Okay. But we were standing there like dumbfounded, because we were trying to figure out, well, was that a Bigfoot? Like, what was that? And let's just say the oddest thing happened after that, because you'd think, like, as researchers, we would get all of our gear and we would stake it out all night, right? And we would try to figure out what that thing was. Okay. Well, within the hour, we had all gone to bed, all of us. And there's really no explanation for that as to why did we all just decide we were going to go lay down? Like, right. That was so unlike us. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
It made zero sense. And so we're all in our tents. Nobody slept that night, though. Okay, so that is really interesting, right? So it wasn't that late at night. We all went to bed. We all turned into our tents, and we were accosted by whatever that was throwing rocks at our tents all night, all of us. Okay, and you could hear them. They were going horizontally, and you could hear the acorns and things falling from the trees occasionally, but these things were going phew, phew, and smacking our tents really hard. So whatever it was like pretty much bombarding us with rocks all night. And we were all just laying in our tents listening and kind of whispering back and forth to each other until the sun came up. It was very odd. And that was, I know that doesn't sound that scary, with me telling it, But if you had been there, it was pretty terrifying. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, that sounds plenty scary. Something
It was scary.
screaming.
Trust
And
me,
you, and
y'all.
you guys were all in tents, nylon,
Yes.
and there's no protection.
No.
That's no, it's
Yeah.
very scary. But it is odd that you guys just kind of blew it off and just went back to bed. And,
It was
you
so
know,
weird. That happens sometimes, though. That's not the only time that's happened to our team and to us. A lot of times when things are getting really crazy out there and there's a lot of activity going on, we just let's go turn in for the night, you know. And so I don't know if that's some kind of weird energetic thing that's going on out there, or if there's some kind of like infrasound or something. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you. But it's very odd, and it just seems so normal for us to just go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've had, things like that too, where you think back and you go, why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? What's the deal? Alex, you get the last word here. You got any questions?
Yeah.
From your brain?
Yeah. If you were given $100,000, how would you use that money to
for research?
For research.
That's a good question.
Oh man. Wow.
Why don't you make it $1 million, Alex? Make it
I
$1
would
million.
do all sorts of stuff with
all
that.
right,
man.
$1 million.
Yeah.
He's raising
Oh my
the
gosh.
ante.
Well, I mean, I would keep doing what I'm doing now. I mean, I would put that money into more equipment and researching these portals and all this activity we're getting with the portals. Also, coming up with some kind of program to look into like Indian mounds and the Dogman phenomenon. Yeah, because that's a big thing right now. People are given us a lot of reports of Dogmen around these Indian burial mounds. And connecting, figuring out what these Indian burial mounds really are. I think there's something else to them, personally. But yeah, I would really just keep on with the research that I'm doing with my team, because we're doing some cutting edge research. But to find other areas of it, I mean, there's areas of high strangeness, just like that rival Skinwalker Ranch that you guys see on that TV show. There are places like that all over the world. I mean, I would like to go check out more places like that, potentially on the different ley lines and stuff. So yeah, I would just continue what I'm already doing right now, but just make it way bigger.
What do you think would help the most with the portal research, like equipment wise?
That's a good question. Well, okay. Do you want to know the protocol that we came up with? Okay. So the protocol, this is actually kind of funny, but it's also horrible. It's terrifying. So, we don't know anybody who's gone through a portal out in the field before. So you have to kind of just come up with whatever you can come up with. So the meeting to that went, a lot of the guys were sitting around and they were trying to decide who had the best life insurance policy and who had the best health insurance. And it involved tying a rope around somebody and letting them, and everybody else holding on to it while they walked in. I mean, it sounded like something out of a movie or a TV show, really.
Yeah, it does.
Because we don't know what else to do.
You're giving me ideas of what I can do with Alex.
No, thank you.
Tie a rope around his waist and send him out. I'm gonna bring him to the snow grove and tie a rope on him and send him out the door when the Bigfoots are outside on the porch. Anyhow, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have a young son, and I'm a single parent, so I can't be going in a portal. So I did not volunteer to ever go into a portal on purpose. But I'll pull the rope. Okay, I'll be there to pull that rope in case we need to pull somebody out of one. But we just don't know. I mean, this is stuff that's really not been studied. And I'm not going to say it hasn't been studied. I think that our governments and their agencies that know all about these portals, but little old people like us and my research teams, this is all new to us. And so we kind of have to come up with our own plans, and kind of pave the way, because if we're experiencing stuff like that out in the field, other people are going to experience this too. It's not just going to be us. And like you said, Doug, you said there was somebody else who had a cube experience, and that movie with David Paulides, the Missing 411 series author. He had a movie, and somebody sent me a clip from that movie. I haven't watched it. I need to. But there's an
I've seen
actual
it.
cube. There's a cube in that movie, and the guy says that it's a spacecraft, I believe. So it's happening. There's
Who
other people
knows?
experiencing these things.
Who knows what time we got? I suppose we should get out of here. I don't know if you had heard. I'm pretty well under the weather. I'm recovering, but oh my goodness, I'm doing everything I can do not to cough.
Oh,
feel like
I hope
just
you get
wanna-
better.
Yeah,
Get
no,
better,
it's-
Sam.
I will. Also want to remind people to watch Down South Anomalies on the Untold Radio Network. With Aspasia and Jamie, and they have an amazing show that's really a different perspective. They're down in Australia and they're on our network, and so more people need to check their show out. It's absolutely amazing. Those two are brilliant, and I know they've done some stories on portals and interviewed people on this stuff. These mysteries are not going to go away, Jessica. We need to just keep researching them. Hopefully we don't get killed doing it. And we don't get sick doing it. And God knows. Yeah, that's the thing I do wonder about sometimes. Are we exposing ourselves to things we don't know?
Yes. The answer to that is yes, we are. And so it's just, and on my quest to look into things like these portals, it really has a lot to do with not only cryptids, but like I said earlier, those missing people out of our national parks. Where are they going? Are these cryptids and the missing people? Are they going into these portals, these cubes, and just never being seen again?
Well, what's interesting is there's been a few that have suddenly been walking on a normal trail that they know they've walked on it many times. All of a sudden, they find themselves in the middle of the forest or somewhere they don't recognize. And the ones that have survived are the ones that have just stayed put until they get their bearings and find their way again. It's like something just gets them off trail, and that certainly would be one explanation, that there's some kind of portals, in forested or wild areas. And somebody had a really good question. Where was it? I'm getting so many comments, I can't keep up. There was a question. No, I can't find it. Did you see that one question, Alex? Are there other? Oh, yeah, I know what it was. I have to remember it. He said, or she said, have you ever encountered some other weird cryptids during your remote viewing sessions? Something new or something weird?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm given.
Oh, there we go. There it is. Flat Rock.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. Well, okay. So in my remote viewing targets are all blind. So I'm tasked these targets by an outside person. Okay. And I have been given things like the Kappa out of Japan. I'm trying to think of some of the weirder ones. Okay. A lot of alien activity. The Kentucky Goblins was one of them. Okay. Yeah, I'm all the time getting weird cryptids and stuff, but a lot of the ones that I'm assigned are ones that are already known about. And so the people that give me these blind targets are just wanting to know, first of all, if they're real. Okay. Because through the remote viewing that I do, I can tell if something's real or not. But see, like I said, I also don't know what I'm looking at. Because I'm just given a set of numbers, and all this information floods in whenever I start remote viewing it blindly. So, yeah, a lot of strange things. I'm trying to think of some of the stranger ones, though. Let's think. Yeah, that Kappa was really weird, and the Kushiko was really odd. I'll think of them after the show's over tonight, I'm sure.
Perfect. Well,
yeah.
we'll get you back.
Check out my website. Yeah, y'all go to my YouTube channel and my website, and you can find all my shows there. And you'll see all the cryptids that I've remote viewed.
Very interesting. Well, it was really great meeting you, and Alex, thank you for finding Jessica. And I'm gonna go to bed. I'm literally. Anyhow, thanks. Good night, everybody. Thank you for everybody being in chat. We had a big live audience, a lot of great people, and it was really good meeting you once again. And good night, Alex, and good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Yep,
Thank y'all for having me. Thank you.
Yep,
Nice meeting y'all.
Bye.
I call you up in the middle of the night. Been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know where we belong. This ain't no ordinary love we got going on. I'll pick you up in my 59 Ford. We head on down the road until we get bored. Just you and me and the sun and the wind. If the rain should start falling, we'll head on home again. Everybody else can see where we belong. Oh, ain't no ordinary love we got going on. At the end of the world, together forever is one, and I'll wait. If ever you should be in doubt, and I'll pray they never can pull us apart, and I'll wait for the time when we'll be together every day. But I know if ever we'll be led astray, that I'll find my way back home to you again. At the end of the world, together forever is one, and I'll wait. If ever you should be in doubt, and I pray they never can pull us apart, and I'll wait. At the end of the world, together forever is one, and I'll wait. If ever you should be in doubt, and